Tarrant County Master Gardener Association has partnered with the Tarrant Regional Water District to encourage water conservation. TRWD maintains 4 area lakes and pipelines needed to provide surface water to local water treatment plants so they can clean that water to meet drinking standards for our communities. They also work with many cities in Tarrant County, such as Fort Worth, Arlington, Mansfield, and many others, to provide water conservation programs to the community. Conservation is an important water supply strategy to help meet the needs of our growing population. There are currently 2.3 million people living in Tarrant County, and this is expected to double over the next 50 years. At SaveTarrantWater.com, you can sign up for free weekly watering advice custom to your location. If you're a resident of Tarrant County, you can sign up for a free sprinkler's checkup where a licensed irrigator comes to your home, provides a comprehensive evaluation of your system with recommendations to reduce water waste. There's also an event calendar where you can find information about future classes and workshops. So be sure and check out SaveTarrantWater.com to sign up for their free services.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yolanda Tatum, and I'm going to be doing hobby backyard greenhouses. So you think you want a greenhouse. A greenhouse will enable you to grow in a controlled environment. It will allow you to do propagation over winter tropical and extend your growing season. Greenhouse management, we're going to cover the definition, how you get started, planning your greenhouse, greenhouse styles, greenhouse frames, operating systems and accessories, and greenhouse watering systems. Definition is a structure designed for the protection of tender or out-of-season plants with regulated temperature, humidity, and ventilation against excessive cold or heat. A greenhouse can range from a small room carrying a few plants over the winter to a large heated glass building called a hothouse or conservatory, covering acres of ground and used for forcing fruits, flowers, and vegetables out of season. Usually a glass or plastic enclosure structure with the framing of aluminum, galvanized steel, or woods such as redwood, cedar, or cypress. It is heated partially by the sun and partially by artificial means, a controlled environment that can be adapted to the needs of particular plants. Getting started, the lure of a greenhouse is powerful. When you walk inside, you work in the soil and tend to your plants, oblivious to the weather outside, a place where seasons and climates don't matter. You can grow species you've never grown before and try new gardening techniques in a controlled environment. You can research and build your own, use step-by-step plans, buy a kit. You still have to put it together or have a contractor build one for you. You must first select an appropriate site where there is plenty of sunlight, then determine what type of greenhouse you want, the size, style, and the coverings. Planning your greenhouse. First, assess your needs. How big a greenhouse do you need? The size of your property may dictate the size of the structure. Rule of thumb, if you buy a greenhouse based solely on your current gardening expectations, it may be too small within a year. Is your purpose for the greenhouse to overwinter houseplants or grow veggies and flowers? A warm greenhouse that permits maximum light isn't necessary for foliage houseplants. If you use the greenhouse for both, take the sunny location and use shading. Planning your greenhouse. How elaborate a structure do you need? You can build a simple structure using PVC and plastic. They are easy to assemble and portable. Move to different parts of the garden as the need arises. If you want a more elaborate structure, you can use polycarbonate or fiberglass coverings with cedar or redwood for the framing and walls, or glass enclosed structure with a cement foundation, heating, and electrical systems. These can be very expensive and not a do-it-yourselfer project. You need to think, is a building permit necessary? Are there local design ordinances? Must the structure be set back from the property line? The basic rule of thumb is, if it's portable, you can take it apart. You don't need a permit, just like a fence or a gazebo. If you install running water, heat, electricity, and a cement foundation, consider a permit. Anyway, don't take my word for it. Ask your local building code people. As for taxes, the same applies. It is best to check with your local permit office. How much does it cost to maintain a greenhouse? The cost to maintain a greenhouse and supply it with heat, water, and electricity depends on energy costs in your area, what type of greenhouse you build, and how you plan to use it. To maintain your greenhouse in the winter, using a small, portable 1500-watt heater, one can start the season late in October or November and continue to late February or early March. To maintain your greenhouse in the summer, cooling, use whatever you can to shade the greenhouse from the midday sun, and possibly install an exhaust fan or a wall cooler or swamp cooler. Where should the greenhouse be positioned? Unless it's a portable model, it's there to stay. The first consideration is sunlight, at least 6 hours of direct sun per day. Note any trees, fences, or other obstacles. Remember, after June 21st, the sun gets lower on the horizon. Consider drainage. Find a level spot. Consider access to water and electricity. Consider the difficulty in walking to your greenhouse in inclement weather. Structural materials. Greenhouse styles. The style of the greenhouse you select depends on how permanent you want the structure to be, whether it will be freestanding or attached to the house. Attached, also called a lean-to. This type of greenhouse is an extension of the home. There is usually direct access to the house, and water and electricity are easily extended to the structure. These are replicas of a lean-to. A small structure like this can house a lot of plants, and it's easily put together with just PVC and plastic. An A-frame, simple to construct, an A-frame can be built in sections on the ground, then raised into place and covered. Although shape is ideal for heavy snow loads, it provides limited headroom and is difficult to ventilate. Gothic arch. The Gothic roof line is extremely decorative. This style is a good choice for regions with lots of rain and snow. Span roof. This freestanding style is the most typical. and usable style for any greenhouse. The interior layout is extremely practical with easy access. Hoop houses. A hoop house can be very reliable. It keeps off excessive rain, blocks the wind, and raises temperatures. Plastic film. A greenhouse covered with film plastic is 1/6 to 1/10 the cost of a glass structure. May resist yellowing, lasting 3 to 5 years, available in many thicknesses. The thicker the film, the more expensive. If you use this, use one that has UV protection. Another way to reduce heat loss is to double layer the plastic, creating an air pocket for installation. Coverings. One of the most important decisions is the choice of material to cover your greenhouse. You will want a material that would let you maximize the amount of light while allowing the least amount of heat to escape. As well, it must be strong enough to withstand wind, hard rain, and hail. Glass. Glass is the preferred traditional material for performance. It lasts indefinitely, but does become brittle with age. Glass is breakable, therefore more difficult and expensive to install. It requires a much sturdier frame than the plastic coverings. Rigid plastics. Fiberglass, acrylic, polycarbonate, care available in corrugated and flat form. Both can be used on curved structures, shatterproof, and resist hail damage to varying degrees. Light transmitted through fiberglass rich panels is roughly equal to that of glass. Fiberglass covering requires less cooling than glass coverings. Greenhouse frames. Most frames are made from wood, aluminum, galvanized steel, and PVC. Galvanized steel. Most commercial greenhouses are galvanized steel frames because they are long-lasting, low-cost, and require less framework than other framing material. Steel greenhouses are typically covered with polyurethane film. Be sure that any steel tube greenhouse you purchase is made with tubing that is protected from a greenhouse's normal humidity and corrosive atmosphere and is designed to support heavy weight. Steel's greatest value is its strength. Its other big advantage is price. Aluminum, available in a variety of colors and has low maintenance requirements. It has a higher initial cost and is more often used with glass and rigid plastics for glazing in structures. It does not have the strength of steel. Look for engineered shapes that are designed to increase frame strength. Wood. Wood is most commonly used either for sunrooms or in homemade greenhouses. Redwood or cedar are used because of their natural resistance to the elements and attractive look. Wood frames are generally much larger and heavier than equivalent metal frames, which increases the amount of shadow in the greenhouse. Though very attractive, wood has a limited lifetime in a greenhouse damp atmosphere before it starts to deteriorate. PVC pipe. PVC hobby greenhouses have become increasingly popular. The main advantages are their low cost, portability, and ease of installation. PVC is not as strong as metal and wood greenhouse frames. Operating systems. Flooring. The floor of your greenhouse should allow easy drainage. Gravel and brick or concrete stepping stones laid over sand are a great choice. You will want to lay a sheet of woven weed barrier under the floor covering to prevent weed growth. Wood slate can be used, but they tend to get very slippery when wet. Ventilation. Ventilation is the single most important requirement for a greenhouse. Your ventilation system will keep temperatures in the greenhouse at a reasonable level in the summer. Winter ventilation needs are lower. Heating. Heating is necessary if you plan to use your greenhouse throughout the year. If you're using your greenhouse to start seedlings and root cuttings in the spring, supplement heating probably will not be necessary. If you use heat mats, smaller models can be adequately heated with electric heaters. Do not expose to water. Larger size greenhouses consider gas heaters. Best to use a vented heater to release the harmful gases. Cooling. Shade cloth or swamp coolers are excellent for cooling. Shade cloth is used by professional growers to cool during those long, hot summers. It is relatively inexpensive and is good for providing shade for plants that grow well in the full sun. Benches. Benches make a difference in the ease of gardening. And add a lot of work space. Benches make a difference in the ease of gardening and add a lot of workspace. Benches come in a variety of materials, from wood to steel to aluminum to plastic. Overhead misters, mat irrigation, drip tubing, water hoses. All of these are necessary items for your greenhouse and things you should think about when you decide how large a greenhouse and how much expense you're gonna put into it. Misters are wonderful, especially if they're on a timer to keep everything watered. Mats. The mats do the same so that they can irrigate and you don't have to move them or move your plants around as much. When you add drip tubing, you can do a hole punch in the location where you're putting the pot. This makes it relatively easy to move your plants around from shelf to shelf. This is a photo of the greenhouse at the Master Gardener's demo garden. This is how the structure started. It took a team effort to put this greenhouse together. I'm sure they were proud of themselves when they finished. These are reference websites. You can go on to Texas A&M, Greenhouse Nurseries. I suggest you take a photo of this page. I'll give you a moment to get your phone out and take a snapshot of that so that you'll have your reference websites. If not, let me know. I can go back to it. Additional resources for backyard greenhouses, Greenhouse Management Magazine, Texas Nurseryman's Magazine. There are several publications that are readily available to help you make all the decisions you need for deciding what size, what type, what material, and what you need to put in your greenhouse. The Transforming Builder Series, How to Build an Inexpensive Greenhouse. How to build a 12 by 14 hoop greenhouse with electricity for $300. This particular book is available on Amazon. I ordered it. It's a great book. References: Texas A&M. These are all of the entities that help put this together. How to build a PVC hoop house for gardening by Travis Sailing, Clark County Extension, and Carol Myers. These are all references of the people that helped to put this together. Here is contact information for our local office. Our helpline is open from 8:30 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. Please take a snapshot of this page. And if you have any questions, we're always available to help. All right, Dick, do you have any Q&A?
I haven't seen any questions in there, Yolanda.
Okay.
And if anyone has a question, raise your hand, and you can ask your question directly to her. Oh, here's one. What are some common issues when building a greenhouse in the city?
What I found, because I'm in the process, I've just ordered a greenhouse from East Texas Greenhouses. I narrowed my choice down with them because they gave me so much free information. I did go to the city and took a map of my property line, and that by far was the most important thing, to make sure you don't have any wires overhead or underground that will not allow you to locate it there. That was my biggest thing. I ended up having to move the area. I originally wanted a 12 by 14, but I think I'm going to have to settle for a 10 by 12 just for the ease of opening the door, because it swings out. But that was my most challenging obstacle, was the location and my talking with the city.
Hey, there's somebody else wanted you to put that picture of the book from Amazon, but I want to remind everybody you will get a copy of this presentation. It will be sent on YouTube, and it will contain all of these slides and the whole presentation.
Okay, great. Yeah, I ordered that book And I saw one at one of the meetings, but I hadn't received mine yet. If I did, I would have bought it with me. But the book is like $10.95, $12.95. It's really inexpensive.
What would you suggest when building in a high wind area without any trees and just lots of sun?
I'm sorry, ask me again.
What would you suggest when building in a high wind area where there's a lot of wind and there's no trees or anything to block the wind and lots of sun?
That
What
was
type?
that was one of the things that East Texas Greenhouses asked me. Sorry about that. I have a respiratory infection. But anchoring it down, what I've decided to do is to put concrete footing all the way around. They are going to add some additional braces for tie down. And that would be my suggestion. If you have a lot of wind and you don't have anything to block it, because they suggest that you put it relatively close, maybe to a garage or the side of your house to help block some of that wind. But I'm adding a concrete footing, and they're going to put additional tie down rebar in it to brace it. I'm so excited about that. I won't get it till about October, but I'm really excited about it.
Okay. I want to let everybody know that the evaluation link is available in the chat. So if you could go in there and you can click on that form and you can go ahead and complete that, before you leave the presentation tonight. As mentioned, it will also be sent to you by an email from Nancy. I don't see any, let's see, how many vents do you suggest when dealing with this excessive heat to kelp circulation?
One of the things that they suggested, because like I said, and I don't want to push one greenhouse builder over another. I have a couple of friends that have greenhouses they got from Harbor Freight. They may not be exactly that quality, but they serve their purpose. I'm putting two vents, a vent at the back along with the fan that's going to be back there, and my door is going to have a panel that opens so I have a crosswind. I'll let you know next summer how I do with that Texas heat.
That's right, especially now.
Yep.
Any more questions? I think you covered most everything, Yolanda. You did a great job.
Okay, great. Thank you. If you guys have anything else, you can call our helpline from the numbers that I gave you, and they'll be able to answer any other questions for you. I appreciate your attendance. I appreciate all of your questions. Thank you so much.
I do see another one. Let's see here. So when you order, does everything you need come in a kit?
The reason I chose East Texas Greenhouses was because of all of the things that are included in their kit. You choose your size, they prefab most of it, then they come to your location and put it together. My thing was I didn't want to struggle with trying to put it together. They are going to put the exhaust fan in the back of in the structure. The door is going to have a vent in it. That's included. My misting system is included in that. I only got a pole to hang hanging plants, but I didn't purchase their shelves because I already have plastic and steel shelving that I intend to use inside.
I don't see any others. And just a reminder that the link will also, the evaluation link will also be emailed to everybody also.
That was absolutely one of the reasons that I decided on East Texas Greenhouse, because in their kits, they have so many things. They even give you a link that you can use to go on to order a thermostatically controlled heater that works by Wi-Fi. I love it. I've already ordered it. It's in my little basket for Amazon. It comes from Amazon, and it was under $140. My thought is, when I know that the weather is going to get really cold, I don't want to have to truck out there and cut all that on. I can do it with the convenience of my phone. I think that is so cool.
Did you see the question from Maria?
No, I didn't.
Okay, she says she has a hoop house 12 by 24, vented with fans, shade cloth, and still it gets 100 degrees and up. Any suggestions?
Whoa. Well, I would, she wants to try to keep the temperature down. Does she have a misting system in it already? I would at putting a misting system, even a small one, will help lower the temperature inside. If she's got a hoop house and it has plastic sides, ask her if she can roll the sides up on either side. It may keep some of that oppressive heat out of there. I don't have a hoop house, so that's about the only thing I can think of is trying to keep them. Most of my plants right now out. My backyard is absolutely beautiful. Looks like a jungle out there. So I'm really looking forward to what I'm going to be doing over the winter and then next year. Maybe I'll come back and give you guys some tips after I actually get it in.
What about floor and drainage issues?
I've decided, that's one of the reasons I decided on that concrete footing. It's going to be 6 inches wide per East Texas suggestion. They go through your site preparation and everything. So I'm going to do the concrete footing around. They're going to put the weed barrier down. I'm going to put 2 loads of sand in there that's going to build it up, and then larger, I think they're 12 by 14 or 12 by 16 stepping stones down the middle. Right now, that's what I'm saying. They may end up having a couple extra because that much concrete was a little prohibitive. So I'm going a little less expensive route with just sand. So for the drainage and stepping stones.
Okay. Any more questions? Everybody really enjoyed it, Yolanda.
Oh, great. I'm glad. Thank you. I've really been doing a lot of research on this the last year, so I am really looking forward to getting my own.
Great presentation, Yolanda. Do any of your ladies that are sitting there live with you have any questions?
Do you guys have any questions?
I just gonna ask, like, in the green inside the greenhouse, how many plants actually be?
One of the ladies is asking how many plants will actually fit inside the greenhouse. Well, it depends upon and I'm going to have a rod that will go down the center for hanging plant. And I'm going to have shelves, 3-tiered shelves on both sides because my vents and fan is on one end and my door is on the other. So I'm utilizing the side. Imagine I'm probably going to get at least 20, if not more, because I have some really big tropics. I've got some bird of paradise and plumerias. My plumerias are like 7 foot tall. So right now, that's my concern if they're going to fit. Yep. Yep. Thank you. Good question.
That was a nice now. It's that stuff. Plant going to plant, but
Oh, yeah.
educated.
Mm-hmm. You have to protect them or you'll lose them. I lost one of my plumerias last year and I've just been sick about that. So yeah, they're tropics. They love this heat. I get out every day, the new ones I have in water, but I give them a shower and just let them get a little shower. I shower all of my plants every day because this heat is just oppressive right now.
So it's true that if you talk to them, they go to.
The whole time I'm outside, my music is playing. I'm talking and the music is playing and they seem to like it because they're really, I almost put some photos in here of my yard and how it looks right now. It's really pretty. Thank you.
Well,
Good
some people are
question.
asking for follow-up photos, Yolanda. So you might send some of those photos to me and I'll include them in the follow-up email.
Okay.
Yeah. They're interested in seeing your pictures when you get it all finished up.
I will. Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Yolanda.